This is chapter 19. Give up sainthood, renounce wisdom, and it will be 100 times better for everyone. Give up kindness, renounce morality, and people will rediscover family piety and love. Give up ingenuity, renounce profit, and bandits and thieves will disappear. These three are outward forms alone. They are not sufficient in themselves. It is more important to see the simplicity, to realize our true nature, to cast off selfishness, and temper desire. And so once again, you see this bring us to this middle way, trying to find this place of balance, avoiding these extremes. Let's take those first three stanzas, though. I'd love to hear some input. And once again, if you don't want to talk to me, you can type in your answers. What in the world does it mean, give up sainthood, renounce wisdom, and it will be 100 times better for everyone? All I have to say to that is amen. What do you think he means by that? Give up sainthood, renounce wisdom, and it'll be 100 times better for everyone. It reminds me a lot of the passage in Ecclesiastes that says, be not righteous over much and be not overly wicked, right? So it kind of like, once again, that idea of you can reckon either ditch. You get these type A people that are so retentive, so black and white, so narrow and judgmental that they can't deviate at all, and they'll end up destroying themselves and others because of their lack of flexibility and movement and change. So that's the one ditch. And then the other ditch, of course, is where there's no discipline, there's no quenching of desire. It's just a complete libertine free-for-all where you're just wallowing in hedonism. And so we want to come forth through either just being objectively wicked or completely missing the mark, or being so retentive that we're wound and strung so tight that we're going to snap those around us. And so once again, it's this injunction trying to bring us to this balanced place. And let's see. And Michael says, for people to stop looking through your own tinted glasses and not be full of your own belief and listen to others. Yeah, very good. I'm sorry, that's Michelle, not Michael. Thank you, Michelle. Give up kindness, renounce morality, and people will discover true piety and love. What? What does that mean? Give up kindness, renounce morality, and people will discover brotherly piety and love.
When you said that, Fred, it reminded me of when we went on a mission trip to Mexico, and I was able to communicate with these children, but I know that other people that didn't speak Spanish weren't able to. But it was like they just gave up without words, without verbal communication. They were still able to interact. I don't know. It was just there was a connection there, and they were able to be there for each other and interact with each other without the verbal.
Right.
Without the verbal connection.
Sure.
And
I think this passage, though, at least that little bit, give up kindness, renounce morality, I think it's talking more about when we're living by these sets of external codes and rules, right? And we're trying to force ourselves, and I think it's kind of a jab sort of at Confucianism and the way China was, where you had this pecking order. You had your father and mother, and then you had this birth order of the sons and the different children, and each would have a different rank with different privileges, rights, duties, obligations. And I think what Lao Tzu is getting at here is get rid of all that artificial construct. Get rid of these like 10 Commandments or the Confucianist analytics and this external law being put upon you. or this duty you have of being a good son or a good daughter, or being a good person or a good citizen, and simply engage directly with meaning, with conscious awareness, other people. And that's the tie-in point I think you were making there, Carlos, where we can bridge education, ethnicity, even language if we're willing to engage with people directly. There's a type of communication that can take place beyond words, beyond reason, right? It's like this direct connection. And then the last passage, part of that, give up ingenuity, renounce profit, and bandits and thieves will disappear. And I don't know, it's kind of almost like a tautology in that, well, if you don't have anything of value, you're safe from bandits. Ta-da! Right. For years, I had this old 71 VW bus, and you had to be like an acrobat to get this thing started. You know, you had to have the choke and the clutch, and sometimes I'd have to have someone pushing it. I'd have to park on a hill, and I'd have to pop start it. I couldn't lock the thing. Sometimes when you'd open the sliding door, the whole thing would fall off. I never, ever worried about someone stealing my vehicle. It was like perfectly safe. But I would have other people, they'd have some fancy new car, and even though I lived way out in the boonies, they would constantly, while they were visiting me, be peeking out the window to make sure their car was okay. And I'd just be thinking, wow, see, their mind, their affections, their emotions, their value is all tied into that possession. But because of that, if something happens to that possession, they will suffer hurt and loss. But if your heart isn't in your possession or these things, or if there is no value that other people will want to take or steal, then it's completely safe. Like I said, I never even had to lock the bus. Not that I could have, but that's not where my heart was. It's not where my affections were. I was able to be present and not with whatever had caught my devotion or attention. Same thing. I don't know if you've ever walked around with large wads of cash in your pocket. Maybe you sold a car or something and someone paid you in cash, and here you are walking down the street with $2,000-$3,000 in bills in your pocket. Is it different than when you're walking down the street with $20 in your pocket? Same street, same thing, but where's your mentality? Does everyone now become a potential bandit or thief because now you have something of value on you? I mean, it's a weird head trip, right? And so I think this is what the Taoists are trying to get at. It's this mentality, where your affections are, where your desires, and how that's going to affect on how you treat yourself and others and how you live in the world.